Um, so, hello everyone. I would like to welcome all of you joining our training program from Turkey, Italy, Luxembourg, and other countries. We have very important and special guests with us today at the second meeting of our Zero Waste Kitchen Erasmus Plus project. Normally, we had previously sent you a brief profile of him, but I would like to provide a short introduction for those who will watch this record later in online platforms. Professor Dr. Erol Nezih Orhon, the European Union Climate Agreement Ambassador in Turkey. He served as the youngest dean of the Faculty of Communication Science at Anadolu University and still currently continues his academic works as a professor in the Department of
I go with the same lies again and again.
Cinema and TV. He completed his master's degree in Turkey and United States as well, and he has his PhD in Turkey. Also, Professor Orhon, who has also served as a chair of Department of Cinema and Television, teach courses in television, journalism, production, directing, and cultural diversity. I'm so lucky because I had some of those courses when I was studying. Um, and also, he plays an active role in European Union projects. And also, he has worked at institutions such as CNN International and NBC News. His works focuses particularly on vulnerable groups, communication, media, and film. And additionally, he is the producer and host of the radio program. I think the translation is Human Relations on national channel NTV Radio. So I'm so glad he is the first trainer of this project, and I'm really happy you guys will meet him, and I hope you can have communication with him after this beautiful presentation. So, floor is yours, Professor.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the great introduction. I felt more valued with it, but I'm still the same guy, anyways. And meanwhile, I'm a tennis player. Actually, next morning, I mean, just in the morning, 12 hours later, I will have a trip to Antalya to play a tournament. And I work also part of the tennis federation, and I'm glad to hear that there is an Italian delegation here. Cookie Gruppe. Well, he wants the stage. He wants to be the main character here. So I can proudly say that, and we are also thankful to the Italians. We have very close relations with the Italian Tennis Federation. The coaches of Sonego, Musetti, Paolini. So, I mean, we had chance to welcome the Italian Federation in Turkey. And other than that, I feel very privileged and kind of proud to be with you because fresh minds are always the great minds. Cookie, bir git Allah'ını seversen. Bir dakika. Cookie. Şşt. I have to get rid of the cat. Okay. All right. Because he wants to take the stage. All right. Here I am. And he left. Okay. Okay. He's sleeping on the ground right now. So at the same time, I kind of consider myself trying to communicate for sustainable development goals. It has been within my scope for more than 15 years. And here I am. So, ladies and gentlemen, everything started with the Big Bang. But I'm not going to go back to the very beginnings of our universe, but rather I will go back to 20 years before. So imagine our world, we had some ideas. So eventually we felt like the world was not covering enough for the demands of the humankind. So what happened is, do I have chance to share the visuals? Let's see. I will get it right, I guess. Okay. So what happened is the world wanted to find a solution and came up with an answer. It's called Millennium Development Goals. And let me share it with you. So I believe you can see it right now. So they called it Millennium
Yes.
Development Goals. So they came up with those 8 main categories. As you can see, the number one was about poverty and hunger, and the second one was about universal primary education, gender equality, reducing child mortality, maternal health, the mother's health, combating HIV/AIDS and other diseases, and at the same time ensuring environmental sustainability and also partnering for all these essential goals. But obviously, things were not enough. And everything lasted till 2015. Then the world wanted to find a solution. Solution for what? How these efforts could be sustainable. Is everything okay there? Okay. So they wanted to be sure if all these efforts were sustainable. So rather finishing these Millennium Development Goals, they came up with Sustainable Development Goals. So they intended that our efforts, our solutions for humankind should be for longer period of time. So I'm sure most of you, or significant amount of you, you may be aware that starting from 2015 till 2030, they came up with another idea. So they called it Sustainable Development Goals. I believe you can see it. Do you see it?
Yes,
So
perfect.
rather than having 8 goals, they expanded the efforts, and then they said, okay, rather than going with 8 ideas, they preferred to go with 17. So again, they dealt with poverty, hunger, but at the same time, good health and well-being. They also added quality education universally. Gender equality was on the table again. Clean water and sanitation, affordable and clean energy, decent work and economic growth, industries, in innovation and infrastructure, reducing inequalities in between societies and in between groups and individuals. And also, as you can see, I'm not going to count them all. So our effort as, having a better world for everyone, for vulnerable populations, covering people in villages and other parts of the world, they said, okay, we will work on these 17 goals. So, but I would like to ask you, what do you think? I mean, there are significant amount of criteria, those 17 goals, and most of them, they actually tackle with food, because food is a crucial thing, that it has to be sustainable for everyone. It affects health, it affects education, it affects innovation, it affects infrastructure, societies, it affects in many ways. But at the same time, while we demand for food, unfortunately, we waste significant amount of the food. Do you know who has the highest piece in wasting food in the world? Do you have any idea?
Household waste, I guess.
I would like to, by the way, let me put the phrase first. Any answer is a great answer. Please get free. Any answer is a good answer. We are not looking for a better or the best answer. All answers are great answers, because it shows that you're encouraged, you're willing to put your ideas in it. So they're all welcome. Households. But my question was more, it was my mistake. I would like to ask, which countries has the highest responsibility in terms of wasting food?
United
I think
States.
maybe US.
Yeah,
US.
Yeah.
Okay. What else?
Luxembourg, probably.
Yeah, I mean, their army is bigger than Luxembourg, so army should be responsible for not Luxembourg, but the Luxembourg army. Definitely. I think that was a very smart way to put it. Luxembourg has a great responsibility in this issue. Okay. Who else? Luxembourg, United States, Malta. maybe? Iceland? No. Okay. So the number one country in the ranking is China with a great margin. And second country is, unfortunately, and they're on the process of being developed country, India. And the third one is actually, it's United States of America. It's in the top 3, as you mentioned. Congratulations. I would like to give you the top 4, top 5. And the fourth one is Brazil. Number 5 is Indonesia. So it goes with Germany, Russian Federation, Philippines, South Africa, and Ghana. So let me share with you the document that you will see that actually who has to blame, let's say. You see, it even shows the amount of food waste they produce per capita. It's huge. So that's why first we have to find the victim. So these are China, India, United States, Brazil. It goes like that. And unfortunately, a country like Turkey has a place. Do you see it?
Yes.
All right. So here is the top 10. Let's say that we should be very careful about how they actually do this, their policies, their country-wise behavior, how they treat the issues. So it's good to know. So why these issues are on the table and why they're important? Okay, let's continue. So, by the way, it is also very important to make a difference between food waste and food loss. They are not the same thing. So food waste is totally different from food loss. So unfortunately, food waste is more prevalent, while food loss is almost the same. It happens almost every part of the world. So, for example, when I asked the previous question, who has to blame? And the number one answer was United States of America. And obviously, it's in the top 3. So I would like to give you an example in terms of the food waste. Can you imagine average American household wastes approximately 60 kilos of food each month? 60 kilos each house. It's a waste of food.
You said every month, right?
Every month, exactly, according to estimations. So food loss is about how you grow them, how you farm them, how they take place in the processes, in the procedures. So what is the loss? For example, this time I would like to give you an example from Africa, from African countries, but this estimation is from the overall African continent. So farmers in Africa, unfortunately lose about 40%. It's a huge number, almost half of it. They lose 40% of all the food they grow before they reach the public. So they lose on the ground, they lose on the farms, they lose in the agricultural activities, 40% of it. So efficiency, productivity, these are key issues in terms of food loss for overall in the world. So these are 2 issues. So food waste, that we do it as consumers in our houses, in our daily life, in our daily activities. But at the same time, food loss happens when you grow it in the industrial area. So those are the 2 things that we should be very careful. So I would like to give you the numbers about food loss and food waste. Let me share with you the document again. If you see it over here, annually, in terms of every year, globally, food loss and food waste, they have a significant place. So imagine we lose 1/3 of the world's food. 1/3, almost 30 to 35%. It makes more than 1 billion tons of food. It's a huge number. I mean, not even a continent. We can feed The whole continent, the whole world with it. And it's worth 1 trillion American dollars. 1 trillion American dollars.
Is it per
I
year?
know I don't want to get into the facts, but I would like to give you an example from a recent world order. For example, there's a war between Israel, Iran, and United States. Can you imagine the cost of war? It was just on the CNN International yesterday. So they have been in the fight for more than 2 weeks. The cost of the war to Israel is a bit more than $8 billion. And look at the number, $1 trillion. I mean, you can solve any issue with hunger. You can solve any issue with poverty. You can solve wars. You can solve issues between societies or within society. And look, we lose almost 50%, half of the fruits and vegetables in the food loss on the ground, 45% of them. Or we lose almost 1/3 of the fish and the seafood. We lose corn, 30% of it. We lose, unfortunately, 1/5 of every single dairy products. We lose milk. And unfortunately, we lose 20% of all meat or poultry, unfortunately, while we grow them, while we try to put them on the market. It's unfortunately unacceptable. So again, we should not only pay focus on food waste, but at the same time, it's huge that we should pay attention to food loss. That's our responsibility. So it means it is not about consumers like you and me, it's for everyone. So it's a multi-stakeholder thing. It's about farmers, it's about agriculturals, it's about policymakers, it's about, governors, municipality leaders, you name it. And why food is so important? I have a question. Please take a look at this name. Have you ever heard of the name, a French philosopher called Fernand Braudel? I have his books in my library behind me. You don't see it, but I have it. He has thick books. I will bring it to you. Hold on a second. I will kill my video for a second.
By the way, people who
All
would
right.
like to
I got
answer,
it.
they can write on the chat box also. I can just read it.
I will show you one of his books. I really suggest you to read. They're deep and they're delicious. And let me show it to you. Can you see it? Structures of everyday life. And look at how thick it is. And he has books about civilizations of Mediterranean. So you can have a great idea how civilizations evolved and got structured. Why I'm telling you this name? And again, his name is Bernard Braudel. Take a look at his name. It's just beneath my finger or next to my finger. Can you see it? Is it clear? Perfect.
Yes.
I strongly suggest you, and for the Turkish audience, the translations are already in Turkish, and I'm sure it's in Italian or it's in other languages. Mehmet Ali Kılıçbay translated into Turkish, so it's a perfect Turkish translation. Why I'm telling you this? Because he has a very interesting theoretical approach to food. Why food is important for people. Not only for feeding ourselves, but actually, according to his claims, the philosopher of Ferdinand Braudel, he claims that actually by food, we define civilizations. And according to his approach, I can tell you, he defines there are 3 key food types that they define the history kind and humankind. One of them is wheat, the other one is rice, and the other one is corn or maize, you may call it. So he says these 3 are the plants of civilizations. Why? Because the way we grow them, we have a great need to organize our societies, to feed our society. So for example, in terms of rice, Which society, which country, which region do you think that developed its societal structure?
China.
Say it again.
China, I think.
Perfect. Alcım.
Japan.
Bingo. Alcım got the perfect answer from the very beginning. Rice was a crucial food, not only for feeding people, but also the way we grow rice, it structured the societies in Asia, particularly in China. Why? Because, you know, it's a division of labor for socialism and for similar types of governances. So rice became a very crucial tool for structuring a unique society, uniquely in China, uniquely in Asia. How about wheat? Buğday in Turkish. Which societies?
I think for the Anatolian civilizations.
Perfect. We have extremely smart people in this group. So wheat is about Europe and Mediterranean, or we may call it Anatolian civilizations. Why? Because, you know, planting, it's not about planting the food, it's about planting the civilization. So what happened is, unlike rice, wheat cannot be cultivated on the same land for 2 consecutive years. So it requires rotation. So it means that the way you structure your society actually developed around harvesting wheat. So that's why, according to Ferdinand Brodel, the way European and Mediterranean societies got structured, it happened just because of the wheat, developing wheat. And how about corn?
United States.
Bingo. Anna,
Egypt.
perfect answer. This time we have Anna. Alcım, great try. Perfect. According to Ferdinand Brodel, corn was a fundamental new world product for the new continent. So it actually played a key role for individualized societies because you were doing it in the farm in a single person line structure. That's the way how the societies took their shape. So when we're looking at food, it's not only feeding about ourselves. It's not about feeding societies. It's not about, you know, helping the world order. It's about constructing civilizations. It's about constructing societies. That's why it's very important. We consider food as part of, as the pioneer for agricultural revolutions. We consider as a key pioneer for nutrition and for populations. And obviously, we consider food as the key element for economic impacts in societies. So, at the same time, while we consider the importance of food, unfortunately, when we consider food, but at the same time, we consider also, we underline the importance of food loss and food waste. But at the same time, there's another story next to it. It's climate change. So, unfortunately, we are not able to control climate change because we don't want to change. So imagine if we don't want to change, the climate will rise again and again. And just 10 years ago, our effort was to hold climate rise 1.5 degrees. Unfortunately, significant amount of academicians or researchers admit that we already exceeded 1.5 degrees. It's not getting any better. It's getting worse. And you know what happens? I will show you a visual to you. And it's a bit in Turkish and in English, but I will explain it to you. So, let me share the visual. Okay, here it is. Can you see it?
Yes.
Yes.
Perfect. First, take a look at the map. It's from OECD, and within OECD, it's from World Resources Institute. Thank you, Anna, for confirming it. So, look, the reddest parts of the world. It's North Africa, Middle East, some parts of Asia, significant amount, not significant, all parts of Turkey, almost all parts of Greece, Spain, and Chile in Latin America. And there are some dark oranges in Europe and other parts of the world. What it means, look what it says at the top of the visual. It says water stress. It means that we are losing water and water and water because of the climate change. It means that water supply will be a critical issue. Can you imagine? Look at the title OECD just named. By 2040, it means that 14 years later, we will lose 80% of all our water in Turkey, in Greece, in some parts of Mediterranean, in Spain. We will lack water. So what does it mean? It means that if we are losing water, obviously water is an input for food. So look what happens if we reach to 3 degrees of heat. I mean, we're almost reaching to 2 degrees because we already exceeded 1.5 degrees, unfortunately, because we don't want to change. We are just happy with the same attitude, same behaviors in our consumptions and daily lives. So what happens is significant amount of New York, Istanbul, Antalya, Venice, and Mumbai in India will be underwater. What it means? What it means? It means that if we cannot control the climate change and the climate crisis, the heat, global warming, it means that we will lose 50% of all wheat production. It means that it will directly affect Europe and Mediterranean because these are the continents of wheat. We will lose 65% of all rice. It's Asia. And we will lose 50% of the corn production in Northern America. So wars will not start with weapons. It will start for the shortage of the food, shortage of the water. 2 factors. And imagine, it's not science fiction again, it is reality that if we just give up the control, and unfortunately, I hope it doesn't get that level, but if it's 6 degrees of rise in global warming, then even we will not be able to breathe. It means that more than 20% of the oxygen will be gone because of the extreme heat. So that's why climate is a crucial issue, coexists with discussing food because they affect each other. So it affects the societal issues. Again, I don't want to name it this way, but wars will not start because of the weapons. It will start with the shortages of water, shortages of food. Okay, so how climate change or climate crisis, it's no longer climate change, it's climate crisis. How climate crisis impacts the food system? Well, unfortunately, the soil, the ground, the farm areas, it's more and more salty. Unfortunately, irregular rains, as I said, this year, Turkey had extremely highest level of rains, but in the previous years, extreme level of lows. So extreme irregularities, so erratic rainfall, so increased storm intensities. I mean, can you imagine just 10, 15 years ago, until then, we didn't have any tornadoes in this country. But now in Antalya, in southern coast, we talk about tornadoes all of a sudden, like it happens in Katrina, in New Orleans in United States. Now we have increased storm intensities. Unfortunately, we have increased carbon dioxide because of the climate change, increased temperatures, increased desertation. It means that our soils are becoming more desert. So you cannot grow anything. It means that it's increased droughts. And as I said earlier, rising seas and increased flooding. So with all of these climatic issues, with climate crisis issues, with environmental outcomes of climate crisis, we will obviously have impact on food. Oh, it's obvious. It means that we are not only going to lose food, but because of losing food, we will have increased levels of diseases because of not regular and necessary nutrition in our lives. Or we will have lower growth in our farms, in our agricultures. Or we will have lower quality of nutrition. So maybe we will have corn, maybe we will have rice, maybe we will have wheat, but the quality of the ingredients will not be the same like we used to have 20 years ago, or our parents would have in their lifetime. So it will affect huge. So it means that we have to be aware of not only for the food loss and the food waste and the importance of the food, but we have to be very careful about extreme temperatures, that we are the reasons that we develop them. Natural disasters, industrial processing, I mean, all those flames and smokes coming out to the sky, or deforestation, or soil degradation, or transport and refrigeration. For example, within the young people in Turkey, please raise your hands. Who is using these online shopping companies? Hepsi burada, or N11, blah blah. You look at those beautiful hands. Okay. My question is, if you don't like the product, if the size of the product it's not appropriate for you, or if the product is not in your taste, what do? You return for free. Is that right? Yeah. And I'm sure those cargo carriers or those logistic companies, they're working with air, not with carbon emissions. So you are the reason that actually within the cycle, within the circular issues, you actually create the food waste, food loss within the system, because we don't want to change again. So don't worry, you're not the full victim. It's China. So China has a great priority compared to you. So there is another issue. So we talked about food, importance of food, how it structures societies and civilizations. But at the same time, we dealt with food waste and food loss. Another key issue is the food safety. Let's talk about more positive framing of it. Why food safety is important? Why? Because we can no longer even keep our food safe, because it's more, the ground, the soil is more salty, more dry, and on the air it's more heat. So imagine, before the seed transforms itself into a plant, it already dries. So another key issue in our lives is the food safety. So food safety again applies to the agricultural area, but also it applies to your daily life. We have to be careful about it. So the way we protect our food. So, for example, again, how we are going to behave as individuals. I mean, until now, all the issues we talked, they were a bit more general. But when we apply things in our daily lives, what are the solutions, or what are the potentials of each individual that we have here? For example, let's talk about the food waste first. What can we do about it? So, for example, if you have waste of food, for example, leftovers, sometimes you just grab an apple and you bite it, and there is the half of it left. It may look ugly to you, but that's the beauty of it. Anything looks ugly may have a valuable, sustainable use for us again, for other people again. And expiration dates. Please take a look at the expiration dates, deadlines of the food. If you can, use the ones that they come closer dates, because the other ones, they have spare times, spare deadlines. Try to check the deadlines. I mean, if you think that within the next week, if it's going to be the deadline for consuming that, go consume that one. Otherwise, it will expire and it will just be a waste. And organize the communities, organize hotels, organize restaurants, organize homes. It means that if anything they plan to throw away in terms of food, it can be a solution for others, for animals, for vulnerable communities. So it can be a circular supply and chain reaction. So please don't forget about that. In terms of food loss, work closely with weather organizations. Check with drought, check with storms. I mean, I lived in the United States, as Cesar said. I mean, for local people, two things are crucial in the news: weathercast and the traffic. They would like to know the weathercast every single second. Why? To know, to plan, to control and organize their upcoming times. It's the same thing for food. And please take a look at how, in terms of your food safety, how you hold, how you store your food. Is it with plastics, so you don't actually create an extra environmental impact? Or is it for organic materials that you store your food? So food safety is also related with the sustainability aspects. So when you contaminate the food, be sure that it can be refrigerated, it can be organic, and it can be sustainable again. So those are the key issues. And let's say we didn't pay attention, and unfortunately we kind of wasted 1 ton tons of food. What do you think what 1 ton tons of food can actually do in our lives? You have any idea? Imagine you just wasted 1 tons, 1,000 kilos of food, and what do you think? Let me give you the example. In terms of energy, actually you can generate enough biogas to power almost 10 to 15 houses for each day. Can you imagine? Just with 1,000 kilos of food waste. Because you produce biogas, and it means that almost up to 15 houses can get their electricity with it. Why not? Or in terms of water, actually 1,000 kilos of food waste, it means that you can actually save the equivalent of 15,000 to 25,000 liters of embedded water. You can save 15 to 25,000 liters of water. Huge, I mean huge number. Or in terms of compost, actually with composting 1,000 kilos of food, you can actually produce 400 to 600 kilos of nutrition-rich compost for the sustainable food chain. Or in terms of emissions, that's always we discuss about, climate change and climate crisis. If you can actually avoid 1,000 kilos of food waste, you can avoid almost 1,000 kilos of carbon dioxide. So it's equivalent. 1,000 kilo of food waste equals to 1,000 kilos of carbon dioxide. So if you're not wasting any 1,000 kilos of food, you're not producing any carbon dioxide. It's beautiful. It's environmentally friendly approach that you can do. Don't waste them. So that's why it's crucial what kind of behavior we will apply in our lives. That's very, very important. So obviously I believe significant amount of you're university students or high school students, or you're just students. What can you do in your schools after having to know these factors? So please try to organize lunch or breakfast boxes that, they're organic, they're from the local communities, they don't require any, wider chains of product delivery. So, and at the same time, make sure that you don't actually send the rest of the food to the waste bin. Try to use them. And try to create some kind of a self-assessment scorecards. I believe everyone can make this self-assessment. That would be very beautiful. And share the tables. Most of the time, very few people or single people eat on a single table. If you can actually make your tables bigger, according to studies, there is less and less food wasted. So sit with a greater number of people on the table. It means that you will be more socialized, but you will waste less. And keep it in mind, if you're not producing, if you're not taking responsibility in serving food, it means that there's a greater chance of wasting food. Serve the food yourself. Don't let other people to serve food. Serve your own food. It means that you will have more control on wasting it because you will know how much you need it. But if you go to the restaurant of your university or your high school or whatever it is, you will see that ladies or men will give you exactly the same amount of food. Either you are 80 kilos or 100 kilos because the tables, dishes are standard. No, you will know your own thing. So do your own self-care. And please ask yourself, I would like to ask you this question. You are from different universities, from different countries, from different schools. Do your schools have food compost areas on campuses or on gardens? Why not? Because they're so polite and they're so blah, 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 and they can have the compost areas in their gardens? Why not? I mean, do you think that, oh, Dr. Iman has said yes.
Yes, I believe we do also have.
Perfect, Fatima. Thank you so
I
much.
think my school also has one.
Perfect. Unfortunately, in Turkey, I didn't see any. Oh, Dura has one. So we have best practices. We have great examples. So your examples can pioneer other examples. And it's not only about composting gardens, but let me ask you in Turkish first, then I will translate into English. Do you have campus or school bostanı? It means that do you have school food gardens that you can grow tomatoes, salad, cucumbers, or others for sustainable and for local productions that you do your own thing rather than getting in the chains? Perfect. Kaan, Nilsu, Duru.
Can I answer it?
We are dealing with professionals apparently here.
Can I
Go
give
ahead,
you
Sefer.
an answer, Professor?
Please.
The thing is, even in Turkish Parliament, we have a basic garden that we can grow something. But
Wow.
sometimes I feel that this is just for to say we have it. You got my point? So
Yeah.
this is important.
Yeah, it's just it's like greenwashing. I mean, when they ask you, you say you have it, but actually in reality, it's just the package. Piyonk. Unfortunately. In Turkish, we say everything is for vitrin. O kadar. That's it. Am I right or wrong?
Yes.
And by the way, I have to give you a quick update. Cesar should be very happy. Fener just scored a goal.
Oh, really?
Cesar is happy right now after certain weeks. You know, it's as important as food safety for him. Okay. So, but at the same time, we started with the importance of food, constructing societies, civilizations, how it plays a key role. Then we talked about food safety, food waste, food loss, and then what's our role as institutions or as individuals. But there's another thing. We mentioned about the key role that we actually hold. It's related with climate change and climate crisis. There is another thing. It's in your hands. What is always in your hands? It's your smartphones. It's your social media. It has an issue with social media too. It means that it's about, I mean, issues related food is about being a responsible, being an informed consumer. So please remember, for example, when you share photographs from Starbucks or from somewhere while you're holding your spare time in those areas or while you're eating something, what kind of information or what kind of encouragement you're disseminating, or what kind of things you relate, you actually make awareness of the food. Please pay attention to it. Or I'm sure in your social media or some other people, they share their micro moments. What kind of micro moments they are? Are they encouraging impulse purchases in terms of having, some unnecessary, unrelated food decisions just because it's just encouraging you to buy and consume something? Or do they expect you to, those social media platforms or commercials or some kind of advertisements, do they ask you to provide real-time feedback or adaptation that encourages you to consider those food issues? Or even when you see things related with food on social media, my question is, what kind of emotional connection do you have with the food you see on social media? Does it provoke you, or does it make you feel responsible, or does it encourage you to do something? And at the same time, keep it in mind, you're all users, but you're all producers of social media. So user-generated content in terms of food is a crucial thing. What kind of visuals you provide to the networks? What is your personal responsibility and your personal practice? So you're all influencers. What kind of issues you bring to the table? So that's why we have to think there are a couple of challenges and risks of social media driven food trends. Number one, unfortunately, social media reflects short-lived, temporary trends, concerns about food. They're not real. They just make you to consume just like that. So think of it again. Don't create immediate behavioral reactions. So most of the time, social media provides is a short-lived trend. Don't just jump into it. Number two, when you see issues, visuals related with food, and they may look like trendy, because that's what we expect from social media to be trendy. What could be the health implications of the food they're giving to us, they're showing to us? It's a very important issue. And obviously, when you see food promotion on social media, when you see commercials, or when you see people sharing their daily life with food, there are obviously ethical considerations of it. Diabetes people with allergies, people with children that they cannot afford, but they at the same time it might be dangerous for the health of the children. So ethical issues of food promotion. Those three things are very key and very important. Why? If we do not pay attention to them, because of the impact of social media, because of the impact they create on food, there are a couple of negative aspects. First, they push you for impulsive eating, and you feel always craved. You want to eat something. And it's called binge eating. And that pushes back again to the food waste, because you're just craving. You're not actually feeding yourself with the real food. Don't do it. So that's why the real food on the table is most of the time it's wasted. And number two, pay attention to influencer marketing. Their purpose is to influence. Don't jump into it. Don't jump and don't consume the food just like that. And always, I'm talking to you, please, when you see food on social media, consider the impact on younger adults. You are the younger adults. What kind of impacts that we might think of? As we said, health, ethical issues, consumption, waste, you name it. And what could be the influence of platforms and trends? There are a couple of research in this area, social media, its relation to food consumption and food waste. You know who's playing the number one role, like China? Instagram. Instagram is the leading platform influencing food trends. Approximately 50% of the whole influence in terms of the social networks and platforms goes to Instagram. And it's followed by YouTube, and it's followed by TikTok. So it means that while something is trendy in terms of food consumption, food promotion, visually appealing food most of the time goes viral. It becomes influential. So please pay attention that these platforms also promote organic and healthier food options, but less and lesser times we see them, unfortunately. So try to take a role. Maybe this could be the outcome of this meeting. If we can actually promote more healthier, more organic, and more, let's say, healthier food options. Why not? We can be the ambassadors of it. Change the direction of the food consumption. And please do never forget, food consumption, social media produces another result. And that is very crucial. It's related with your mental health and with your body image. And it goes to body shaming. Don't relate yourselves with these issues. Don't ever. So, almost finishing my point. What could be the last key phrases that we may think of? Obviously, when food is the issue, try to reduce the consumption. Number one is reduce consumption. Number two, if possible, try to make new things from the waste. So it means that try to reuse the food. Be a circular person and try to recycle. If nothing helps, try to compost. So that would be the best household you can create. Reducing your food consumption, reusing your waste, food waste, recycling your unnecessary food, but the least uncontrollable you feel, then put them under the ground, compost it. That would be my key point. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Professor. Can we have some questions to you? Because I
Always.
think there are some questions. Guys, you can just open your microphone and ask, or if you're not available to talk, please just write it on the chat box, then I'm gonna read it.
They're eating their hamburgers. Okay. Thank you so much for the applauses.
Okay. Question. Okay, Andri, I hope I pronounce well.
No, sorry, it was my mistake. I wanted to upload.
Thank you, Andri.
Yeah.
Kind of you.
Okay, Alkım, please just introduce yourself shortly.
Alkım is Alkım.
Hi. I'm Alkım. I'm studying in the Middle East Technical University Mathematics Department. Thank you for your presentation and for your training. It was very well.
Thank you. Very kind of you, Alkım.
And I want to ask that in the first chart you have shown there was sorry, I'm sick. Sorry for my voice. In the first chart you showed there was not much of the European countries, the wasteful countries list. Do you think that's because they are small and they don't have much of the population in the world, or they know how to deal with the waste and how to deal with the food?
I believe it's rather not a question, but a kind of statement, I believe, Alkım.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't make them innocent, but actually, rather in comparisons, they have lower rates of weights and growth losses. I will give you an example in terms of productivity and efficiency. I mean, look, Netherlands. Can you imagine, with the size of the country, with the size of the population, they are the number 3 exporter of food, vegetables, fruits they sell to the world. They are number 3 in the world. So it's not about size. It's not about populations. It's about how efficient and how productive, how actually impactful you can think of, and you develop the procedures. I believe it's related with that. So that could be the reason, not because being a European or being a, Northern African or Northern, Scandinavian. It's just about how you actually consider and plan, organize yourself in terms of impact and efficiency and productivity. And meanwhile, Ali Fuad just asked the question, yeah, we can start small. I mean, you just develop tomatoes. You start with the one item. Next year, you add another one, or you add two more. It goes like that. Nothing started with big.
I think it's important to have this mentality, at least.
Exactly. It's
have
the
this
change
mentality.
that you want to propose. And again, it could be applied to weaker countries in terms of economies or with vulnerabilities. Why not? Little step. I mean, it's the same example every time. The butterfly in Amazons, when plays with the wings, I mean, the wing of a butterfly, it doesn't only affect itself, but actually it affects the whole universe because of a chain reaction. It starts very small. Jada, please. And then Dr. Iman. Jada, go ahead, please.
First of all, thank you for your presentation.
Thank you. I love you.
As an e-media student, how can we use digital storytelling to make environmental issue more visible and impactful?
Beautiful question. I would say try to write extremely local stories. My perspective, I kind of work in a similar area that you asked the question for. Try to zoom in. Try to focus on extremely small communities. Try to reflect the lives, expectations, needs, consumptions of real people, of real microcosmoses. That's why I really enjoy the book Asterix. It always talks about a small village. Don't talk about the whole country. Don't talk about the whole universe. Talk about a small village. What could be the role of Asterix? What could be the role of Obelix? What could be the role of the magician? How they can unite for the common mutual role, for the common mutual purpose. Start very simple. Start very small. Zoom into the ground. Zoom into the village.
Dr. Iman?
Yes, good evening, everybody. Good evening, Dr. Nezih. Nice to be in this meeting. I'm sorry I attend the lecture late. I want to ask how we can calculate the food waste. For example, fruit, meat, dairy product, let's say carbohydrate, for example, pasta, bread, like this. If you have, and if this related to this lecture, thank you very much.
Dr. Iman, thank you so much. It's definitely and directly related with the common ground. It's not lecture. We all share our experiences. So it's a common ground for every one of us because we have different experiences, different knowledge, different levels of information. So we all collaborate, and thank you for it. I will give you an example. We don't have to know everything, but I can give you an example from our city, Eskişehir in Turkey. Municipalities started with a project to collect waste greases. So imagine what happened is they said that please do not waste your waste grease to the sewage system because it kills the quality of the water, they said. So what happened is they ask every single kitchen, they ask every single cafeteria to collect their grease, their waste grease. So in bins, they collected rather than just throwing to the ground or throwing to the sewage system. So because what happened is they actually transform the grease and they use in different areas. Grease is the number one poisoner of quality of our water. So they said, let's start with this one. So it's definitely adequate question. We can start with, differentiating wastes, and one of them could be starting with the grease that we just throw to the sink. Don't do it. Collect it in a bottle or collect it in a cup. Give it to the municipality. If municipality didn't start it, ask them to start this grease collection. Thank you,
I think
Dr.
Nazlı has a question as well. Nazlı, are you here?
Yes, hi. I was
Hi.
just wondering, are there any big restaurants or food production companies or anything like that that's making a big change, like a progressive change in the way that they're producing a product that can be inspiring? You can give an example of.
That's a good question, Nazlı, and I'm sure you also witnessed some stories related with your question. For example, I know there are a group of restaurants or people who work with restaurants. What they do is in the late evenings, they go to those restaurants, those organized people or organized associations. They collect the waste of food and they take them to the shelters for animals. And not to animals, for humankind too. People, elderly people or vulnerable people live in shelters. So they distribute and deliver to the shelters of the municipalities, but also shelters of, animals. So it contributes to, different dimensions of life. It can be human, it can be animal. So I believe there are organized networks. I know in Eskişehir, and I know significant amount of cities, they work with restaurants. And those restaurants, they shouldn't be big or big brands. Oh, we have the same cat, Jada. Exactly the same one I have. Mine is a bit wider than yours. It's more than 8 kilos. Cookie.
Yes.
Yeah, I see the beauty over there, but mine is over here. Just started sleeping on the table. Wants to be just in front of my eyes. Ada, please go ahead.
Hello. It's first of all, thank you for your presentation. I would ask you to what do you think about the slow food and Carlo Petrini's ideas? Do you think is it affecting the is it really affecting the food sustainability ideas or?
I think there's a point in it. So if you think that there is a space that you can think you can be part of slow food movement, you know what you need to change? Do you know any idea what first you need to change to step into the slow food movement? Change the lighting. It's an experiment called Hawthorne experiments. All the fast food restaurants, they have shiny white lights. According to studies, to fasten up your production and fasten up your consumption of the food, the brighter, the whiter the light is, you become more part of the fast food consumption. So change your lighting conditions, put warmer lights, spend more time on table, be part of the slow food consumption. This is the first step. The rest, there are millions of ways. If you just put into Google slow food approach or methodology, you can, but it's related with the lighting first. Change the environment first before you step into the food.
Thank you so much. And can I ask one more question?
Sure, any question is a good question.
And And I would like to go into about the slow food. Do you think slow food events is enough for Turkey or another un-European countries like China or the other Asian countries? Or
I don't know about China, but I can clearly say that it's not enough for Turkey or Turkey. At the same time, why slow food is important is when you consume fast food, it's organized chain of consumption. I mean, it's produced in Istanbul, big truck brings those, frozen meat, frozen buns, frozen vegetables in boxes. So you have to consume the delivery mechanisms. You have to consume the carbon emission things, all those things. Slow food is about local food. So you actually empower local productions, you empower local mechanisms. Not only you empower the local agricultural production, but you create a whole lively new methodology. That's why in many aspects, go slow. Thank you, Ada.
thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
And Dr. Iman just said, traditional food is the best. Exactly.
It's true.
I mean, follow your mother's intuition.
Recipes.
Oh,
Professor,
Çınar asked a very key question. Don't jump into the discount campaigns. It's fully for marketing purposes. It's fully for consumption. Never deal with them. Never. Because even, I mean, you will remember, get one, buy one, get one free. I mean, those kind of promotional approaches, don't deal with them. It's totally against the whole meetings idea.
But I think it can also be in good use. Like in Belgium, for example, I see a lot of things that are approaching to their final days. They make discounts so people can buy and consume it in the day, so they don't go to waste. Maybe this way we can use it in a better way. Like, I don't know. It can be also done. Dondum.
Professor?
I think he's
Okay. He doesn't ready to that answer.
Maybe we should
Yeah.
tag him.
Good. Luckily, we have done. Just while we are waiting for him, thank you very much to everybody to be here today. It was a wonderful lecture by Professor Nezih. I'm gonna ask him and share his email addresses. If you would like to contact him, please just feel free to write him about anything. He will be with us during the whole project. And the next meeting, I hope it will be in 7th of April. We will send you the details about it. And we are going to start to collect our recipes. But again, we will contact you about details. So it will be amazing to have a family picture with people who can open their camera for a second. If no problem at all. But it will be nice to have a family picture before leaving. So I'm gonna give a couple of minutes. Maybe Professor Nezih will connect again. Okay. O öne geliyor zaten.
Okay, then. Yeah, Selçuk.
30 seconds more. Let's wait. Ready? Okay. Perfect. Thank you very much. It was wonderful. Oh, Philip, again, one more picture because Philip was not there. Oh my God. Such a boss. Okay. Okay, amazing. Thank you very much. We will write you an email as soon as possible about the next meeting and the process. So thank you. Good night.